to still be a threat for the playoffs. They're not technically in the playoffs as of yet because the thing is, the Colts are being mad annoying right now. The Colts won't go away. They have the same record as the Colts. The Colts have the advantage in the tiebreaker because they beat Houston earlier this year in Indianapolis in a very, very well, actually in Houston in a very, very in a game that was pretty much a blowout. But you know what? CJ Stroud came to life at the end of that game to where now we're sitting up in here and we're all questioning if CJ Stroud is an MVP candidate this year. We already know he locked in the offensive rookie of the year. That's without a doubt. And you know what? Will Anderson might get the defensive rookie of the year. And then this could be show that the Houston Texans knew exactly what they were doing on draft night. So, when you look at this situation, you have a guy in Nico Collins who had a great game last night. And pretty much this was something that was a little bittersweet because they lose Tank Dell pretty much for the season. Same exact injury as Tony Pollard, fractured the ankle. Looks like he's got some broken leg. So moving forward, they're going to have to see exactly what they have. But this is grind time for this Houston Texans team. Same thing goes for the Broncos, but the Broncos are a little bit more experienced with their head coach and their quarterback. They've been here before where you have to win these games. But it looks like it's 2 squares for the Texans, but you don't never want to say that these are squares. But, the Jets are struggling, but the game is in New York. Actually in Jersey at MetLife. And then Tennessee you don't know what the hell Tennessee is. Tennessee shows up week in and week out. And when they play at home, this team is a lot better. They're not a great road team, but they're a good home team. So that game right there is a 50-50. Then you got Cleveland at home. You got Tennessee at home. So you got Tennessee twice in 3 weeks. And then you finish up the season with Indianapolis in the most important game in CJ Stroud's career if they still are in the playoff race. Because right now, when you look at the way the stats set up for the playoff situation, you have this team on the outside looking in. You have Houston, who is now the 8th seed, the 8th place team in the conference, but they are tied with the teams above them who are all 7-5. The reason why Houston is out because common victories, and when you look at conference wins, they have 4-3. The Browns are 5-3, and the Steelers are 5-3. So those games really do count. So with that should be a way for us to really examine exactly what this team is about. Now, when we look at Denver's situation, Denver is the type of team that they're probably not going to make the playoffs, but they're going to be one of the spoilers. You know what I mean? And that's what it looks like to me, is that they'll be one of the spoilers here in the NFL this year because, after that team started off the season 1-5, they've been incredible. Now they're 5-1 since that point. In their last 5 games of the year, they got the Chargers twice, on the New Year's Eve and on the 10th. So they do have the Chargers at home, and they've beat the Chargers, I think, the last 5 years in a row in Mile High. Then they have the Detroit game. This is going to be tough, but this is going to be a game that they can actually win because Russell Wilson has always played the Detroit Lions very well. And then you know what? They got this New England game. That's pretty much a square. And then the end of the season will determine exactly where the Broncos are going. I think they'll still be in the playoff hunt as well, too. This team moved to 6-6, but being 6-6 behind 7-5 is not that bad. All right. So with that, pretty much we'll have more on it tomorrow when we talk about the games on the NFL Bet Exchange. But right now, that's exactly what it is. Texans moving forward. They find themselves in position, but still on the outside looking in. And the Broncos go ahead and get cooled off just a little bit. So with that, we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into our next, which is going to be the 49ers get their lick back with dominant 42-19 win over the Eagles.